Deep in the Siberian taiga and on the snow-covered slopes of the Urals lie stone giants that challenge everything we know about Russia's ancient history. Megaliths weighing thousands of tons, carved with incredible precision, appeared here long before any known civilizations. Their creators possessed technologies that seem impossible even today. Who were these mysterious builders? What knowledge did they possess? And why have their achievements been erased from human memory? Today, we will embark on a journey to the most mysterious places in Russia to uncover the secrets of a forgotten civilization, traces of which still amaze scientists around the world. Friends, if you are intrigued by the mysteries of Russian megaliths, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and turn on notifications so you don't miss new investigations into ancient mysteries. And in the comments, share your opinion on whether you think it is possible that a highly developed civilization existed in Russia thousands of years ago, or if you have your own theory about the origin of these mysterious structures. Time equals 4.0 seconds, his ideas about Russia's ancient history upside down. Before him stood giant stone blocks, carved with a precision that seemed unattainable in ancient times. These megaliths, as scientists would later call them, became the beginning of one of the most intriguing mysteries of Russian archaeology. Stone blocks weighing hundreds of tons lay like children's building blocks thrown by a giant. Their surfaces were polished to a mirror finish. Their corners were cut with mathematical precision, and their edges were fitted together so tightly that even a knife blade could not be inserted between them. Such stone processing required not only advanced technology, but also a deep knowledge of engineering and mathematics. Initial research yielded surprising results. Radiocarbon analysis of organic remains found near the megaliths dated them to between 8 and 12,000 years ago. This meant that these structures were built long before the emergence of the advanced civilizations known to us in Russia. Who could have possessed such technology at a time when, according to traditional history, only hunters and gatherers lived here? The material used to build the megaliths was a special type of granite found hundreds of kilometers away from the site. Transporting such massive blocks across rough terrain was a technical challenge of enormous complexity, even for modern technology. How the ancient builders were able to deliver these stone giants to the construction site remains a mystery. Analysis of the traces of processing on the surface of the stones raised even more questions. The cut lines were so smooth and deep that it looked like a high-precision tool, possibly diamond-coated, had been used. Some researchers suggested that ultrasonic technology was used to soften the stone, which would explain the unusual smoothness of the surfaces. The location of the megaliths was also striking in its thoughtfulness. They were oriented strictly according to the cardinal directions, and their relative positions corresponded to certain astronomical patterns. This testified to the creators' deep knowledge of astronomy and geodesy. The megalith complex was not a random collection of stones, but a carefully planned structure with an unknown purpose. Matanchev's discovery was only the first in a series of finds that were made throughout Russia in the following decades. From Karelia to Altai, from the Murmansk region to Primory, archaeologists and geologists found traces of an ancient, highly developed civilization, the existence of which called into question traditional ideas about the history of our country. Each new discovery added pieces to the mosaic of an ancient mystery. The megaliths varied in size and shape, but they were united by a common feature: the incredibly high quality of the stonework and the use of technologies that were advanced for their time. Some blocks weighed up to 1,000 tons, making them some of the most massive processed stones in the world. The scientific community was divided into two camps. Supporters of traditional archaeology tried to explain the origin of the megaliths by natural processes or the activities of later civilizations. Their opponents insisted on the need to revise the chronology of Russia's ancient history and recognize the existence of a developed civilization in ancient times. The mystery of Russian megaliths continues to excite the minds of researchers around the world. These stone witnesses of the distant past hold secrets that could radically change our understanding of human history. Their study opens new horizons in archaeology and forces us to rethink the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The harsh expanses of the Kola Peninsula hide some of Russia's most mysterious megalithic structures. Here, among the endless tundra and ancient rocks, stone giants rise up, challenging all known ideas about the capabilities of the ancient inhabitants of the far north. These monumental structures were discovered at different times, but each find added new questions to the existing mystery. The first serious research into the megaliths of the Kola Peninsula began in the 1990s, when an expedition led by archaeologist Valery Diomin discovered a complex of stone structures in the area of Mount Ninchurt. These megaliths were striking not only for their size, but also for their unusual shape. Some blocks were carved into regular geometric shapes, while others had complex curves and transitions, giving the impression of sculptural works. The so-called pyramids of the Kola Peninsula attracted particular attention from researchers. These structures, up to 15 meters high, were built from carefully fitted stone blocks without the use of mortar. The technology used to build them remained a mystery even to modern engineers. How did ancient builders manage to lift multi-ton blocks to such heights and install them with millimeter precision? Geological analysis showed that the material for the pyramids was extracted from several different quarries located at a considerable distance from each other. This indicated the existence of a developed planning and logistics system, as well as the availability of means for transporting heavy loads over difficult terrain. The winter conditions on the Kola Peninsula made such work even more difficult. The internal structure of the pyramids was astonishing in its complexity. Using ground-penetrating radar, researchers discovered a system of internal chambers and corridors connected by an intricate network of passageways. Some of the chambers were filled with small, regularly shaped stone blocks, the purpose of which remained unclear. Perhaps these were elements of some technological system unknown to us. An amazing discovery was the discovery of traces of high-temperature exposure on some stone blocks. Analysis showed that the surface of the stone had been heated to temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius. Such temperatures could only have been achieved using special technologies, the existence of which in ancient times seemed incredible. Astronomical research has revealed another mystery of the megaliths of the Kola Peninsula. Many structures were oriented according to the position of stars and planets at certain historical periods. This testified to the profound astronomical knowledge of their creators and the possible use of megaliths as observatories or calendar systems. Research continued, and each year brought new discoveries. In the 2000s, a network of underground tunnels connecting various megalithic complexes was discovered. These tunnels were carved into the rock with remarkable precision and were a true engineering marvel. Their walls were polished to a mirror finish, and the ceilings were supported by a system of stone arches. Climatic studies have shown that during the construction of the megaliths, the climate of the Kola Peninsula was significantly milder than it is today. This period is known as the Atlantic climatic optimum, when temperatures were several degrees higher and vegetation was more diverse. However, even under such conditions, the construction of such grandiose structures required a high level of organization and technology. Local Sami legends mention stone houses of giants that existed on the peninsula long before the arrival of modern peoples. These legends were passed down from generation to generation and may contain echoes of the memory of the builders of the megaliths. The legends told of mighty men who could move mountains and possess the secrets of stoneworking. Modern research into the megaliths of the Kola Peninsula continues using the latest technology. Laser scanning allows the creation of accurate three-dimensional models of the structures, while analysis of the mineral composition of the stones helps to determine their origin. Each new study adds details to the overall picture, but the main mystery remains unsolved. Who and how created these amazing structures in the harsh conditions of the far north? The Ural Mountains, stretching for thousands of kilometers from the Arctic Ocean to the steppes of Kazakhstan, hold many archaeological secrets in their depths. Among them, megalithic structures discovered in various parts of this ancient mountain range occupy a special place. These stone witnesses of the distant past pose questions to researchers, the answers to which could radically change our understanding of the history of the Urals. The most famous and studied complex of Ural megaliths is the Archaeum complex, located in the Chelyabinsk region. Although the main settlement dates back to the Bronze Age, much older stone structures have been found in the surrounding area. These megaliths, consisting of blocks weighing up to 500 tons, were skillfully carved and erected with remarkable precision long before the emergence of the Archaeum culture. Geological studies have shown that the stone for these structures was quarried more than 100 kilometers away. Transporting such massive blocks across mountainous terrain was an incredibly difficult technical challenge. Modern engineers acknowledge that even with the use of modern technology, moving such loads would require careful planning and significant resources. Of particular interest are the traces of processing found on the surface of the Ural megaliths. Analysis of these traces has revealed the use of tools that left characteristic grooves up to several centimeters deep. The hardness of the granite being processed is such that tools made of materials with high hardness, possibly diamond-coated or with similar characteristics, were required to create such grooves. A completely different type of megaliths was discovered in the area of Mount Ural. These structures were huge stone slabs set vertically and forming regular geometric shapes. Some of these slabs reached a height of 20 meters and weighed 800 tons. Their installation required not only advanced lifting technology, but also precise geodetic calculations. Radiocarbon analysis of organic remains found at the base of these megaliths showed that they were about 10,000 years old. This means that these structures were created at a time when, according to traditional archaeology, only Stone Age hunters and gatherers lived in the Urals. The existence of such advanced technologies in that era seems incredible from the point of view of modern science. Research using ground-penetrating radar has revealed the presence of underground structures beneath many Ural megaliths. These structures are a system of chambers and tunnels carved into the rock. Some of these underground structures extend for hundreds of meters and connect various megalithic complexes. The purpose of these underground networks remains a mystery. Analysis of the orientation of the Ural megaliths has shown their connection with astronomical phenomena. Many structures are oriented according to the position of the sun on the equinoxes and solstices, as well as to certain stars and constellations. This indicates that their creators had a deep knowledge of astronomy, and that the megaliths may have been used as ancient observatories. Mineralogical analysis has shown that some Ural megaliths contain inclusions of rare minerals that do not occur naturally in this region. This may mean that the builders of the megaliths had access to mineral resources from distant regions or possessed technologies for artificially creating such minerals. Both options point to a high level of development of ancient civilization. Local Bashkir and Tatar legends mention cities of giants that existed in the mountains in ancient times. These legends describe powerful people who could move mountains and build cities from huge stone blocks. Although such legends often contain mythological elements, they may reflect the folk memory of the builders of megaliths. Modern research into the Ural megaliths continues using the latest scientific methods. Laser scanning allows the creation of accurate three-dimensional models of the structures, while spectral analysis helps to determine the technologies used to create them. Each new study brings us closer to unraveling the mystery of the Ural stone giants, but the full picture of their origin remains unclear. The endless expanses of Siberia hide archaeological secrets in their depths that could overturn our understanding of the ancient history of this region. Among the taiga forests and mountain ranges, researchers have discovered megalithic structures that surpass many well-known ancient monuments in size and complexity. These stone giants testify to the existence of a highly developed civilization in Siberia that possessed advanced stone-cutting technologies. The most impressive finds were made in the Krasnoyarsk region, where an expedition led by geologist Mikhail Zyganshin discovered a complex of megaliths of unprecedented size. Some stone blocks weighed up to 1,200 tons, making them some of the most massive processed stones in the world. These giants were laid with such precision that not even a thin blade could fit between them. The technology used to process the Siberian megaliths amazed even experienced researchers. The surfaces of the stones were polished to a mirror finish, and the corners were cut with mathematical precision. Some blocks had complex geometric patterns carved up to 10 centimeters deep. Creating such patterns required not only advanced tools, but also a deep knowledge of geometry and mathematics. Geological analysis showed that the material for the Siberian megaliths was extracted from various deposits located hundreds of kilometers apart. Some blocks consisted of rare types of stone, the deposits of which were located thousands of kilometers from the site where the megaliths were found. This testified to the existence of a developed transport system and trade links between different regions of ancient Siberia. The researchers' attention was particularly drawn to traces of heat treatment found on the surface of some megaliths. Analysis showed that the stone had been exposed to temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius. Such temperatures could only have been achieved using special furnaces or technologies that seemed impossible in ancient times. In the Irkutsk region, megaliths of a completely different type were discovered. Huge stone spheres of perfect shape. Some of these spheres were 5 meters in diameter and weighed over 300 tons. The creation of such objects required incredible skill and precision, as the slightest deviation from the ideal shape would be visible to the naked eye. Radiocarbon analysis of organic remains found in the immediate vicinity of the Siberian megaliths showed that they were between 8,000 and 15,000 years old. This meant that these structures were created during the last ice age, when the climate in Siberia was even harsher than it is today. The construction of such grandiose structures during the ice age was a task of colossal complexity. Astronomical research has revealed a surprising pattern in the location of Siberian megaliths. Many complexes were oriented according to the position of certain stars and constellations in ancient times. Some megaliths served as a kind of sighting line for observing the movement of celestial bodies. This testified to the profound astronomical knowledge of their creators. Using modern scanning technology, researchers have discovered an extensive network of underground structures beneath the Siberian megaliths. These underground complexes included chambers for various purposes, connected by a system of tunnels. Some chambers contained the remains of unknown mechanisms made of stone and metal. Local Evenki and Tungus legends mention stone people who lived in the taiga in ancient times. According to these legends, the stone people possessed magical powers and could transform rocks into any shape. Although these legends are mythological in nature, they may reflect the folk memory of the builders of megaliths. Research into Siberian megaliths continues, and each new expedition brings amazing discoveries. The use of drones and satellite technology allows new complexes to be discovered in remote areas of the taiga. Laser scanning helps to create accurate models of structures, and analysis of the mineral composition of stones reveals the secrets of ancient technologies. Siberian megaliths are a unique phenomenon in world archaeology. Their size, manufacturing technology, and age pose questions to science, the answers to which could radically change our understanding of ancient human history. These stone giants continue to keep their secrets, gradually revealing them to persistent researchers. The study of the technologies used in the creation of Russian megaliths reveals to researchers a picture of the incredible technical skill of ancient builders. Analysis of traces of processing on the surface of stone blocks shows the use of methods that are still considered advanced in the field of stone processing today. These technologies are so sophisticated that they call into question traditional ideas about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Microscopic analysis of the surfaces of megaliths has revealed traces of tools with cutting edges of incredible hardness. The nature of the grooves left behind indicates the use of materials harder than steel. Some researchers suggest the use of diamond or corundum tools, which seems unlikely for an era when these materials were not yet known to mankind. Traces of heat treatment of the stone are particularly noteworthy. Spectral analysis has shown that the surfaces of many megaliths were exposed to temperatures ranging from 1,000 to 2,000 degrees Celsius. At such temperatures, the crystal structure of the stone changes, making it more malleable for processing. However, achieving such temperatures in ancient times was a serious technical problem. Research using an electron microscope has revealed the presence of microscopic spheres of molten material on the surface of the stones. These spheres are formed under the influence of extremely high temperatures or when using laser technology. Such traces are characteristic of modern methods of laser cutting stone, which raises the question for scientists about the possible use of similar technologies in ancient times. Analysis of the internal structure of stone blocks revealed traces of ultrasonic exposure. At certain frequencies, ultrasound can soften the crystal lattice of stone, making it temporarily plastic. This explains the incredible precision with which the blocks fit together and the absence of cracks at the joints. However, generating powerful ultrasound requires complex equipment. Geochemical analysis showed the presence of elements in some megaliths that are not found in nature in these regions. This may indicate the use of artificial stone alloying technologies to give it special properties. Such technologies imply a deep understanding of chemistry and materials science at a level comparable to modern standards. Examination of the joints between stone blocks revealed the use of an unknown binding material. This material is stronger than the stone itself and does not deteriorate over time or under the influence of climatic factors. The chemical composition of this material remains a mystery, as it does not correspond to any known ancient building mortars. Three-dimensional scanning of the megaliths revealed a complex system of internal cavities and channels. These structures were created during the stone processing and could have served various purposes, from moisture drainage to the creation of resonance chambers. The creation of such complex internal structures requires precise planning and high craftsmanship. Analysis of tool marks showed the use of rotating cutting elements. The nature of the grooves indicates the use of disc saws or similar tools operating at high speeds. The creation of such tools requires knowledge of mechanics and metallurgy, which, according to traditional history, was not available to ancient craftsmen. Research has also shown the use of polishing techniques that allowed a mirror-like surface quality to be achieved. Such polishing requires the use of abrasive materials of a certain grain size and special techniques for their application. The quality of the polishing of ancient megaliths often exceeds modern standards of stone processing. Computer modeling has shown that the creation of some particularly complex elements of megaliths required the use of numerical control. The precision of the complex geometric shapes is such that it is difficult to achieve even with modern CNC machines. This raises the question of the possible existence of similar automation technologies in ancient times. The study of Russian megalith processing technologies continues with the use of increasingly sophisticated analysis methods. Each new study reveals new aspects of ancient craftsmanship, but at the same time raises new questions about the nature and origin of these amazing technologies. Perhaps the solution to these mysteries will help us take a new look at the history of human civilization. The scale of Russian megaliths amazes even experienced archaeologists and engineers. When it comes to stone blocks weighing hundreds and thousands of tons, processed with jeweler's precision, a natural question arises. How could ancient builders work with such gigantic objects? Modern technology struggles to cope with such tasks, which makes the achievements of ancient craftsmen even more amazing. The heaviest of the megaliths discovered was found in the Krasnoyarsk region and weighs, according to preliminary estimates, 1,800 tons. This stone monolith is irregular, parallelly piped with perfectly flat sides and sharp corners. For comparison, the largest modern crane is capable of lifting a load weighing no more than 1,200 tons, and even then, only under a variety of technical conditions. The logistics of moving such massive objects is a task of colossal complexity. Calculations show that transporting a block weighing 1,000 tons would require at least 2,000 people working in coordination. However, this is assuming the use of modern mechanical devices. In ancient times, such a task would have required the use of technologies or methods unknown to us. Analysis of the soil under the megaliths showed that they were installed on specially prepared foundations. These foundations are a complex system of stone blocks, laid in a specific order, and capable of withstanding enormous loads. Calculations of their load-bearing capacity demonstrate the ancient builders' deep understanding of the principles of structural mechanics and material resistance. Of particular interest are the megaliths erected in a vertical position. Some of them reach a height of 30 meters and weigh up to 800 tons. The installation of such monoliths requires precise calculation of the center of gravity and the use of complex lifting mechanisms. The slightest error in the calculations could lead to the block falling and the destruction of the entire structure. The transportation of megaliths over long distances is a separate mystery. Many stone blocks were made from material found hundreds of kilometers away from where they were installed. Moving multi-ton loads across mountains, forests, and swamps required not only advanced technology, but also the creation of a special transport infrastructure. Research has shown that some megaliths were moved across water barriers. Traces of dragging on the bottom of ancient rivers indicate that heavy blocks were somehow transported by water. The creation of floating vessels capable of carrying loads weighing hundreds of tons is a serious engineering challenge even for modern shipbuilders. The precision with which the megaliths were installed is as astonishing as their size. Many blocks are positioned with a deviation from the vertical of no more than 1 degree, which requires the use of precise measuring instruments. Some megalithic complexes are aligned in a single line with an accuracy of several centimeters over kilometers. Analysis of the stresses in the stone blocks showed that they were subjected to forces significantly exceeding their own weight. This may indicate the use of special lifting techniques that created additional loads on the material. The nature of these stresses does not correspond to any of the known ancient methods of lifting loads. A study of the methods used to connect the megaliths to each other revealed the use of complex lock joints. Some blocks have protrusions and grooves that ensure their secure fastening without the use of binding materials. The creation of such joints requires precise calculation and high skill. Modern attempts to reproduce ancient megalithic technologies have not yet been successful. Experimental archaeology has shown that even using known ancient methods of lifting heavy loads, it is impossible to achieve the precision and speed demonstrated by ancient megaliths. This suggests the existence of technologies unknown to us. Computer modeling of the construction processes of megalithic complexes shows that their creation required the coordinated work of thousands of people over decades. The organization of such a large-scale construction implies the existence of a developed social structure and management system, which does not correspond to traditional ideas about ancient hunter-gatherer societies. The mystery of the weight and size of Russian megaliths continues to intrigue researchers. Each new discovery adds details to the overall picture. But the main question remains unanswered. How did ancient builders create these stone wonders using technologies that remain a mystery even to modern science? Geological studies of Russian megaliths have revealed many surprising facts that force us to reconsider traditional ideas about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Analysis of the mineral composition of stone blocks, study of their structure and the origin of the material provide valuable information about the technologies and methods used by ancient builders. This data often contradicts conventional theories about the development of human society in ancient times. Petrographic analysis has shown that megaliths are made of various types of rock, from ordinary granite to rare minerals found in deposits located in different parts of Russia. Some blocks contain inclusions of minerals that do not occur together in nature. This may indicate the use of technologies for the artificial creation of composite materials or the existence of developed trade links between distant regions. Isotopic analysis has made it possible to accurately determine the geographical origin of the stone for many megaliths. The results showed that the material was extracted from quarries located between 100 and 1,000 kilometers from the site where the blocks were installed. Transporting materials over such long distances required a developed logistics system and a deep understanding of the properties of different types of stone. Microstructural analysis revealed traces of extreme temperatures and pressures on the stone. Deformations characteristic of materials exposed to temperatures above 2,000 degrees Celsius at pressures of hundreds of atmospheres were found in the crystal lattice of some megaliths. Creating such conditions in ancient times seems extremely unlikely. X-ray structural analysis showed the presence of amorphous inclusions of structures without a crystal lattice in some megaliths. Such inclusions are formed during rapid cooling of molten material or under the influence of ultra-high energies. The presence of amorphous structures in ancient megaliths raises the question of the possible use of unknown energy technologies. Geochemical analysis has revealed the presence of elements in the composition of megaliths that are not characteristic of these regions. In some blocks, inclusions of rare earth metals have been found, whose deposits are located in other parts of the world. This may indicate the existence of developed international relations in ancient times or the use of technologies for enriching natural materials. The study of the weathering processes of megaliths has provided important information about their age. Analysis of the depth of chemical weathering showed that some megaliths were exposed to atmospheric factors for a period of 10 to 15,000 years. This confirms their great antiquity and raises the question of the existence of advanced technologies in such distant times. Magnetometric studies have revealed anomalous magnetic properties in some megaliths. Their magnetic susceptibility differs significantly from that typical for this type of rock. This may be the result of exposure to strong magnetic fields during stone processing or evidence of the use of magnetic orientation technologies. Spectral analysis of the surface of the megaliths showed the presence of elements that could only have got there as a result of high-temperature processes. The detection of traces of evaporation and condensation of metals on the surface of the stone indicates the use of technologies capable of creating temperatures at which refractory metals melt. The study of organic material inclusions in the megaliths yielded unexpected results. Radiocarbon analysis of these inclusions gave different dates, which may indicate a multi-stage process of megalith creation or the use of technologies that alter the isotopic composition of carbon in organic materials. Analysis of microcracks in stone blocks revealed the nature of the stresses to which the megaliths were subjected during their creation and installation. The direction and nature of the cracks indicate the application of stresses that do not correspond to any known ancient stoneworking techniques. This may indicate the use of unknown material deformation technologies. The study of contact zones between different megalithic blocks revealed traces of chemical interaction between them. In some cases, diffusion of elements from one block to another was observed, which is characteristic of high-temperature processes or prolonged exposure to special chemical agents. Modern methods of geological analysis continue to reveal new secrets of Russian megaliths. The use of technologies such as neutron activation analysis, mass spectrometry, and electron microscopy allows us to obtain increasingly detailed information about the composition and structure of ancient stone structures. Each new study brings us closer to understanding the technologies used to create them, but at the same time raises new questions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The discovery of megalithic structures in Siberia has forced researchers to rethink traditional ideas about the ancient history of this region. For a long time, it was believed that Siberia was inhabited exclusively by nomadic tribes of hunters and reindeer herders who did not possess advanced technologies. However, archaeological finds in recent decades testify to the existence of highly developed civilizations in this territory, which created grandiose stone structures and possessed advanced technologies. Stratigraphic analysis of cultural layers in areas where megaliths are located has revealed several historical periods of intense construction activity. The earliest of these periods dates back to between 12,000 and 8,000 years ago, which corresponds to the end of the last ice age. At that time, the climate in Siberia was much milder than today, which contributed to the development of agriculture and the establishment of permanent settlements. Archaeological excavations in the vicinity of Siberian megaliths have revealed the remains of large settlements with developed infrastructure. These settlements included residential complexes, workshops, warehouses, and public buildings. The layout of the settlements indicates the existence of centralized power and a developed social structure. The size of some settlements suggests that they were ancient cities with a population of several thousand people. The discovery of tools and household items indicates a high level of craftsmanship among the ancient Siberian civilizations. Tools made of high-quality steel have been found, which in terms of their characteristics surpass many modern alloys. The technology used to manufacture such tools required a deep knowledge of metallurgy and the availability of high-temperature furnaces. Written monuments found during excavations represent a writing system unlike any other known ancient writing system. These texts are engraved on metal plates and stone slabs using unknown technologies. Attempts to decipher them have shown that the texts contain technical information, possibly descriptions of technological processes or engineering solutions. The astronomical knowledge of ancient Siberian civilizations is striking in its accuracy and depth. The astronomical instruments found allowed for high-precision determination of the positions of stars and planets, prediction of eclipses, and calculation of calendars. Some instruments include mechanical elements resembling parts of complex clock mechanisms. The medical knowledge of the ancient Siberians also reached a high level of development. Surgical instruments made of high-quality steel have been discovered, which allowed complex operations to be performed. Remains of medicines and medical treatises describing methods of treating various diseases using minerals and plant extracts have also been found. The study of the water supply system of ancient Siberian settlements has revealed the use of complex engineering solutions. Water pipes were built using ceramic and stone pipes, and the water purification system included multi-stage filters made of various materials. Some elements of the water supply system are still functioning today, which testifies to the high quality of ancient construction. The agricultural technologies of ancient Siberian civilizations included complex irrigation systems and methods for improving soil fertility. Remains of terraced farming and artificial ponds for fish breeding have been discovered. Plant breeding techniques were also used to create high-yielding grain varieties adapted to the Siberian climate. The trade links of ancient Siberian civilizations stretched for thousands of kilometers. Archaeological finds include objects from various regions of Eurasia, as well as materials and artifacts whose origin remains unclear. This indicates the existence of a developed trade network and possibly sea routes. The military technology of the ancient Siberians included the creation of fortified settlements with a system of defensive structures. The weapons found are of high quality and made from advanced materials. Some examples include elements that can be interpreted as primitive firearms. The religious and cultural traditions of ancient Siberian civilizations are reflected in numerous artifacts and architectural structures. Temple complexes were distinguished by their complex layout and the use of advanced construction techniques. Religious texts contain information about complex cosmology and philosophical systems. The reasons for the decline of ancient Siberian civilizations remain a subject of scientific debate. Climate change, natural disasters, or social upheavals may have led to the disappearance of these advanced societies. The study of their legacy continues, and each new discovery adds details to the picture of an amazing ancient civilization that existed in the vast expanses of Siberia thousands of years ago. Russian megaliths occupy a special place among the megalithic structures of the world, surpassing many of them in size, technical complexity, and quality of stonework. A comparative analysis with the most famous megaliths on the planet reveals the unique features of Russian monuments and raises questions about possible connections between ancient civilizations on different continents. These comparisons help to better understand the place of Russian megaliths in the context of the world's megalithic heritage. The famous Stonehenge in England, consisting of blocks weighing up to 50 tons, seems modest compared to Russian megaliths, some of which exceed 1,000 tons. However, similarities in astronomical orientation and the use of precise block-fitting techniques point to possible common roots or mutual influence of building traditions. Radiocarbon dating shows that Russian megaliths are several millennia older than Stonehenge. The megaliths of Baalbek in Lebanon were long considered the most massive processed stones in the world. Blocks weighing up to 800 tons amazed researchers with their size and quality of workmanship. However, Russian finds have surpassed even these records, demonstrating even more advanced stoneworking technologies. The similarity in surface treatment methods and the precision of the block's fit may indicate the existence of a common technological tradition. The pyramids of Giza in Egypt, built from blocks weighing between 2 and 15 tons, demonstrate a high level of organization in construction work and precision in execution. However, Russian megaliths exceed Egyptian monuments in terms of the mass of individual blocks by tens of times. At the same time, the quality of Russian megaliths often exceeds Egyptian standards, especially in the field of surface polishing and the creation of complex geometric shapes. The megaliths of Easter Island are unique sculptural works, but their technical characteristics are significantly inferior to their Russian counterparts. The Moai statues were carved from relatively soft volcanic tuff, while Russian megaliths were made from hard granite and basalt. Nevertheless, both cultures demonstrate an ability to create monumental works and place them with precision. Malta's megalithic structures, such as the Hagar Chim and Menajdra temples, show a high level of architectural planning and astronomical knowledge. Russian megaliths are larger than Maltese ones, but demonstrate similar principles of orientation to celestial bodies and the use of complex geometric plans. This may indicate the spread of certain knowledge between ancient civilizations. The dolmens of the Caucasus, geographically close to the Russian megaliths, demonstrate some common features in construction technology. However, the Caucasian structures are much smaller in size and do not reach the same level of technical perfection. This may indicate that the Caucasian dolmens are a simplified version of more developed megalithic traditions. The megaliths of Karnak in France, comprising thousands of menhirs arranged in a specific order, demonstrate the scale of ancient projects. Russian megalithic complexes are comparable in scale, but surpass the French ones in terms of the technical complexity of individual elements. The similarity in the planning principles of large complexes may indicate common architectural traditions. The Andean megaliths of Sacsayhuaman in Peru are famous for their polygonal masonry and the precision with which the blocks are fitted together. Russian megaliths demonstrate similar technologies for joining stones without the use of mortar, but surpass the Andean ones in terms of the size of individual blocks. The similarity of technologies despite geographical distance raises the question of possible ancient connections between civilizations. The megaliths of Stonehenge demonstrate a complex system of astronomical orientations, but Russian analogues show even more advanced astronomical knowledge. Some Russian complexes are oriented not only to the solar and lunar cycles, but also to the movement of distant stars and planets, which requires deeper astronomical knowledge. The megalithic temples of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dating back to the 11th millennium BC, have long been considered the oldest megalithic structures. However, Russian megaliths may turn out to be even older, which calls into question traditional ideas about the development of human civilization. The similarity in the use of T-shaped supports and intricate stone carvings points to possible connections between the builders. The megaliths of Japan, including the underwater structures off Yonaguni Island, demonstrate a high level of stone architecture. Russian megaliths surpass Japanese ones in size, but similarities in geometric shapes and construction principles may indicate the spread of megalithic traditions throughout Eurasia. The African megaliths of Senegal and Gambia are smaller standing stones, but their group arrangement resembles the layout of some Russian complexes. This may indicate the existence of common principles for the creation of megalithic complexes, regardless of the geographical location and cultural characteristics of the builders. A comparative analysis shows that Russian megaliths represent the pinnacle of megalithic art in many respects, including size, technical perfection, and stonework quality. At the same time, they demonstrate links with global megalithic traditions, which may indicate the existence of a developed system of cultural and technological exchanges between civilizations on different continents in ancient times. The origin of Russian megaliths remains one of the most intriguing mysteries of modern archaeology. Scientists have put forward various theories in an attempt to explain the appearance of these grandiose structures at a time when, according to traditional history, humanity did not yet possess the necessary technologies. Each of the proposed theories has its strengths and weaknesses, but none can fully explain all the features of Russian megaliths. The natural origin theory suggests that megaliths are the result of natural processes such as glacial activity, weathering, or tectonic movements. Supporters of this theory point to the possibility of the formation of regular geometric shapes as a result of specific geological conditions. However, detailed analysis shows traces of obvious tooling, which rules out a purely natural origin. The paleocontact theory suggests the involvement of extraterrestrial civilizations in the creation of megaliths. Supporters of this theory point to the impossibility of creating such structures using the technologies available to ancient people. The high precision of stone processing, astronomical orientations, and the massiveness of the blocks are seen as evidence of the use of advanced technologies of extraterrestrial origin. The theory of forgotten technologies suggests that ancient civilizations possessed advanced technologies that were lost as a result of disasters or social upheavals. According to this theory, humanity's development has not always been upward, and periods of technological progress may have been followed by periods of decline and oblivion of past achievements. The theory of the Atlantean civilization links the creation of megaliths to the activities of a highly developed civilization that existed before known historical cultures. Proponents of this theory point to the similarity of stone processing technologies in different parts of the world as evidence of the existence of a single ancient civilization that spread its knowledge throughout the world. The climate optimum theory explains the possibility of creating megaliths by favorable climatic conditions during the Atlantic optimum. At that time, temperatures were higher than today, which contributed to the development of agriculture and population growth. The increase in resources could have provided the opportunity to create monumental structures by a large number of people. The sound technology theory suggests the use of acoustic methods for processing and moving stone. Some researchers believe that ancient builders could have used resonance frequencies to soften stone or create levitation effects. This theory is based on the discovery of acoustic properties and traces of ultrasound in some megaliths. The seismic technology theory suggests the use of earthquake energy to process stone. According to this theory, ancient builders could concentrate and direct seismic energy to split and shape stone blocks. The location of many megaliths in seismically active areas is seen as confirmation of this theory. The magnetic technology theory is based on the discovery of anomalous magnetic properties in some megaliths. Proponents of this theory suggest that ancient builders could have used magnetic fields to levitate and move heavy stone blocks. The presence of ferromagnetic materials in some megaliths is considered evidence of the use of magnetic technologies. The plasma processing theory suggests the use of high-energy processes to process stone. Traces of extreme temperatures and pressures on the surface of megaliths may indicate the use of plasma technologies. This theory explains the mirror-like polishing of surfaces and traces of melting found on some blocks. The collective labor theory assumes the mobilization of enormous human resources to create megaliths. According to this theory, ancient societies could organize the work of thousands of people over decades to create monumental structures. However, calculations show that even with maximum mobilization of resources, the creation of some megaliths would have been technically impossible. The ritual purpose theory considers megaliths to be religious or ceremonial structures. Astronomical orientations and complex layouts of complexes could have served for religious rituals or astronomical observations. However, this theory does not explain the technical aspects of the creation of megaliths and their colossal sizes. Modern research continues to search for answers to the mystery of the origin of Russian megaliths. The use of the latest analysis and modeling technologies may lead to the creation of new theories or confirmation of one of the existing ones. Perhaps the truth lies in a synthesis of several theories that take into account all aspects of this amazing mystery of antiquity. Modern methods of researching Russian megaliths are opening new horizons in our understanding of these mysterious structures. The use of advanced technologies allows us to obtain data that was inaccessible to previous generations of researchers and is gradually bringing us closer to unraveling the secrets of the ancient builders. An interdisciplinary approach combining archaeology, geology, physics, and engineering sciences makes it possible to comprehensively study the phenomenon of Russian megaliths. Laser scanning has become one of the most effective methods for documenting megaliths. This technology allows the creation of accurate three-dimensional models with a resolution of up to a fraction of a millimeter, making it possible to detect details that are invisible to the naked eye. The data obtained is used to analyze stone processing technologies and identify hidden structural elements. Georadar surveys allow the structure of megaliths and the surrounding soil to be studied without destructive impact. This method has been used to discover hidden chambers, tunnels, and underground structures associated with megalithic complexes. Georadar also helps determine the depth of foundations and identify buried structural elements. Spectral analysis of the mineral composition of megaliths provides valuable information about the origin of the material and the technologies used to process it. Modern mass spectrometers allow the isotopic composition of elements to be determined with high accuracy, which helps to establish the geographical origin of the stone and possible sources of material extraction. Computer modeling of the processes involved in the creation of megaliths helps to test various theories about their origin. Modern programs allow the simulation of stone processing, block transportation, and construction assembly processes. These models show what technologies and resources would have been required to create megalithic structures. Remote sensing using satellites and drones opens up new possibilities for finding unknown megalithic complexes. Multispectral imaging allows the detection of anomalies in vegetation cover and soil structure that may indicate the presence of buried archaeological sites. Magnetometric studies reveal the anomalous magnetic properties of megaliths and help to understand the technologies used to create them. Modern magnetometers are capable of detecting even weak magnetic anomalies, allowing the internal structure of stone blocks to be studied and hidden metal inclusions to be identified. Radiocarbon dating of organic remains found in connection with megaliths refines the chronology of their creation. Modern methods of accelerator mass spectrometry allow samples weighing only a few milligrams to be dated with high accuracy, which is especially important when working with rare and valuable samples. Microscopic studies of the surface of megaliths reveal details of the technologies used to process them. Electron microscopy allows the structure of the material to be studied at the molecular level, and traces of the effects of various tools and processes to be detected. Atomic force microscopy makes it possible to study the surface with a resolution of up to nanometers. Geophysical research methods help to study the deep structure of megalithic complexes. Seismic tomography allows the detection of voids and heterogeneities in rock at great depths. Gravimetric studies reveal density anomalies that may indicate the presence of hidden structures. Chemical analysis of the binding materials found between megalithic blocks helps to understand the technologies used to join them. X-ray structural analysis allows the crystalline structure of these materials and their chemical composition to be determined. Some of the compositions found do not correspond to any known ancient building mortars. Thermal imaging studies of megaliths are conducted to reveal internal structures and heterogeneities. Differences in the thermal conductivity of materials allow hidden cavities, cracks, and inclusions to be detected. Long-term observations show that some megaliths exhibit unusual thermal properties. Acoustic studies investigate the sound properties of megalithic structures. Measurements of resonance frequencies and analysis of acoustic responses help to understand the possible functional purpose of these structures. Some megaliths demonstrate unique acoustic properties that could have been used in ancient rituals or technological processes. International cooperation in the study of megaliths brings together scientists from different countries and disciplines. The exchange of data and methodologies accelerates the research process and yields more comprehensive results. The creation of international databases on megalithic structures helps to identify common patterns and connections between different complexes. The results of modern research are gradually forming a new picture of Russia's ancient history. Each new discovery adds details to our understanding of the technologies and capabilities of ancient civilizations. The use of modern research methods continues to reveal the secrets of Russian megaliths and brings us closer to understanding their true origin and purpose. Archaeological research of the areas surrounding Russian megaliths has yielded many surprising discoveries that help us better understand the culture and technology of their creators. These finds include tools, household items, remains of settlements, and ritual objects that significantly add to the picture of ancient civilization. Many artifacts demonstrate a level of technical development that seems incredible for their time. The most impressive finds are metal tools made from alloys of unknown composition. These tools demonstrate a hardness that exceeds that of modern tool steel and retain their sharp cutting edges after thousands of years in the ground. Analysis of their composition has revealed the presence of elements that do not occur in the necessary concentrations in nature in these regions. Ceramic artifacts found near the megaliths are distinguished by their unusual properties and quality of workmanship. Some vessels were fired at temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius, which required the use of special kilns and technologies. The decorative elements on the ceramics are executed with mathematical precision and demonstrate a deep knowledge of geometry. Remains of ancient settlements have been found at various distances from the megalithic complexes. These settlements had a complex layout with a system of streets, squares, and specialized areas. The foundations of the buildings are laid out of carefully processed stone blocks joined together without the use of mortar. The quality of the masonry is comparable to that of the megalithic structures. The water supply system of the ancient settlements included a complex network of canals, reservoirs, and treatment facilities. Water pipes were made of a special type of ceramic with antibacterial properties. Some elements of the water supply system are still functioning today, which testifies to the high quality of ancient engineering. The metallurgical workshops contain the remains of furnaces capable of reaching temperatures of over 2,000 degrees. The design of these furnaces included a complex system of air supply and temperature control. The slag found contains traces of metal smelting, some of which are not typical of these regions and could only have been obtained artificially. Astronomical instruments discovered during excavations demonstrate the ancient people's profound knowledge of astronomy. These devices allowed them to determine the position of stars and planets with high accuracy, predict eclipses, and compile accurate calendars. Some instruments include mechanical elements resembling parts of complex clock mechanisms. Written monuments are texts engraved on metal plates and stone slabs. The writing system used is unlike any known ancient script. Attempts to decipher the texts have revealed that they contain technical descriptions, possibly instructions for using various devices or technological processes. Medical instruments testify to the advanced medical practices of the ancient inhabitants of these places. Surgical instruments are made of high-quality steel and allowed complex operations to be performed. Remains of medicines and containers for their storage with a dosing system have also been found. Jewelry and art objects demonstrate a high level of artistic skill. Jewelry was made using techniques that became known in other regions of the world much later. Some jewelry contains precious stones that have been cut with incredible precision and polished to perfection. Agricultural tools demonstrate advanced methods of land cultivation and plant growing. The plows and other tools found are made of durable materials and have an ergonomic design. Remains of irrigation systems and terraced farming have also been discovered, indicating intensive agriculture. Military equipment includes examples of protective armor and weapons that surpass the quality of many well-known ancient civilizations. Swords and arrowheads are made of particularly strong metal, and protective armor demonstrates a deep understanding of the principles of defense against various types of weapons. Ritual objects indicate the existence of a complex religious system and developed spiritual practices. The altars, ritual vessels, and cult figures found are made with great skill and attention to detail. Some ritual objects contain astronomical symbols and intricate ornamentation. Means of transportation are represented by the remains of carts and sleds of unusual design. These vehicles were adapted for transporting heavy loads and had a complex suspension system. The wheels were made using advanced wood and metal processing technologies. Trade artifacts testify to developed trade links with distant regions. Items have been found that are made from materials that can be traced back to different continents. This points to the existence of a developed trade network and possibly sea routes. Each new discovery adds details to the picture of an amazing ancient civilization that possessed technologies and knowledge that were far ahead of its time. The study of these artifacts continues, and each study brings new discoveries that force us to rethink our ideas about the ancient history of Russia. Climatic conditions played a key role in the creation and functioning of Russian megaliths. Paleoclimate studies show that during the period when these structures were built, the climate was significantly different from today's, which could have influenced both the construction possibilities and the purpose of the megaliths themselves. Understanding ancient climatic conditions helps to better understand the context in which these amazing structures were created. The Atlantic climate optimum, which lasted from approximately 9,000 to 5,000 years ago, was characterized by a significantly warmer climate than today. Average annual temperatures in Siberia and the Urals were 4 to 6 degrees higher, creating favorable conditions for the development of agriculture and population growth. These conditions could have contributed to the accumulation of resources necessary for grandiose construction projects. Glacial studies show that during the creation of megaliths, glaciers in mountainous areas were significantly smaller than today, or did not exist at all. This opened up access to mountainous areas and quarries that are difficult to reach today due to glacial cover. The absence of glaciers also facilitated the transport of heavy stone blocks across mountain passes. Sea levels during the construction of the megaliths were several meters lower than today, which changed the geography of coastal areas. Many areas that are now flooded were once land suitable for construction and transportation. This could have influenced the location of megalithic complexes and the routes used to transport building materials. Changes in precipitation patterns significantly affected the vegetation and hydrology of regions with megaliths. During the climatic optimum, precipitation in most areas was higher than today, which contributed to the development of forest vegetation in steppe and forest-steppe zones. This changed the accessibility of territories and influenced the choice of construction sites. Analysis of wood remains shows that coniferous and even deciduous forests grew in the areas of modern tundra and forest tundra during the construction of megaliths. The availability of wood facilitated construction work by providing material for lifting mechanisms, vehicles, and temporary structures. Forest vegetation could also serve as a source of fuel for high-temperature processes. Research shows that many megaliths are located in places that had special climatic characteristics in ancient times. Some complexes are located at points where different climatic zones converged, which could have been of particular importance to ancient inhabitants. This location could have been related to astroclimatic observations or ritual practices. Seasonal climate changes in ancient times were less pronounced than today, which lengthened the construction season. Mild winters allowed construction work to continue almost all year round, which significantly accelerated the process of creating megalithic complexes. This is especially important given the scale and complexity of ancient construction projects. Climate-related hydrological changes affected the availability of waterways for transporting heavy loads. Many rivers were more abundant and navigable during the construction of megaliths, which facilitated the delivery of stone blocks. Some modern lakes were significantly larger at that time and could be used as waterways. Wind patterns in ancient times also differed from those of today, which may have influenced the construction techniques and functioning of megaliths. Changes in the direction and strength of prevailing winds could have been used to generate additional energy for lifting heavy blocks or to provide ventilation in underground structures. Geomagnetic changes associated with climate cycles could have influenced the navigation and orientation of megaliths. Paleomagnetic studies show that the Earth's magnetic field had different characteristics during the construction of megaliths, which could have been taken into account in the planning and orientation of structures. Seismic activity during different climatic periods may have influenced the choice of construction technologies and design solutions. Analysis of paleoseismic data shows that during the construction of megaliths, the seismic situation in some regions was different, which could have affected the stability and durability of the structures. Changes in solar activity that affect the climate may have been taken into account when creating the astronomical orientations of megaliths. Solar activity cycles affect climatic processes and may have been known to ancient builders, which was reflected in the layout and orientation of megalithic complexes. Climatic disasters, such as volcanic eruptions or meteorite falls, may have influenced the chronology of megalith construction. Traces of such events have been found in ice cores and lake sediments, and their dating sometimes coincides with periods of cessation of construction activity in megalithic complexes. Contemporary climate change affects the preservation of megaliths and the conditions for their study. Global warming leads to changes in permafrost conditions, which can affect the stability of structures. At the same time, climate change opens up new opportunities for archaeological research in previously inaccessible areas. Understanding the relationship between climate and megaliths helps to better interpret the purpose and functions of these structures. Many megaliths may have served not only ritual or astronomical purposes, but also functioned as climate observatories or even influenced the local climate by creating special microclimatic conditions. An analysis of the technical capabilities of the ancient builders of Russian megaliths reveals an amazing picture of advanced knowledge and skills that seem incredible for their time. The study of stone processing methods, the transportation of massive blocks, and the assembly of complex structures shows that ancient craftsmen possessed technologies comparable to, and in some respects even surpassing, modern capabilities. These achievements force us to reconsider traditional ideas about the development of human civilization. Stone extraction technologies demonstrate a deep understanding of geological processes and the properties of various rock types. Ancient craftsmen knew how to select the best sites for quarries, taking into account rock structure, fracture direction, and mineralogical composition. Methods for extracting blocks from the rock mass allowed stones of regular geometric shapes to be obtained with minimal material loss. The quality of stone surface finishing was such that today it can only be achieved with diamond tools. Analysis of the traces left by the tools shows that they were capable of cutting grooves several centimeters deep in solid granite. The creation of such tools required the highest level of knowledge in materials, science, and metallurgy. Stone heat treatment technologies included methods of heating the material to temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius. At such temperatures, the crystal structure of the stone changes, making it more malleable for processing. Creating and maintaining such temperatures required complex furnace designs and an understanding of heat transfer processes. Surface polishing methods made it possible to achieve a mirror-like finish. Modern analysis shows that the surface roughness of ancient megaliths often does not exceed a few micrometers, which meets the highest modern standards. Achieving such quality required the use of abrasive materials of a certain grain size and special techniques for applying them. Transporting multi-ton blocks over long distances was an outstanding engineering achievement. Calculations show that moving some megaliths required efforts equivalent to the power of modern heavy cranes. The creation of vehicles and lifting mechanisms with such a load capacity required deep knowledge of mechanics and material resistance. The technology used to fit the blocks together with such precision demonstrates the incredible skill of the ancient builders. The joints are made with millimeter precision, which required the use of high-precision measuring instruments. The creation of complex interlocking joints shows an understanding of the principles of load distribution and structural stability. The astronomical knowledge of ancient builders allowed them to create structures with precise orientation to celestial bodies. Calculations show that some megaliths are oriented with an accuracy of several angular minutes, which requires the use of sophisticated measuring instruments and a deep knowledge of celestial mechanics. The engineering calculations required to create stable structures from multi-ton blocks required an understanding of the laws of statics and dynamics. Analysis of stresses in megalithic structures shows optimal load distribution, which indicates the use of mathematical methods for calculating strength. The technologies used to create internal cavities and channels in massive stone blocks demonstrate mastery of complex methods of volumetric stone processing. Some megaliths contain systems of internal chambers and tunnels, the creation of which required precise planning and high-level craftsmanship. The surveying work required for the planning of large megalithic complexes required the use of precise methods for measuring distances and angles. Analysis of the layout shows the use of complex geometric constructions and mathematical ratios, which indicates advanced knowledge in the field of geometry. Ancient metallurgical technologies included the creation of alloys, with characteristics superior to many modern materials. The tools found demonstrate hardness and corrosion resistance that can only be achieved today through the use of special alloying additives and complex technological processes. The chemical knowledge of ancient craftsmen included an understanding of the processes of interaction between different materials. The binding compounds discovered have unique properties and do not correspond to any of the known ancient building mortars. The creation of such materials required a deep knowledge of chemistry. The acoustic properties of some megaliths indicate that ancient people understood the principles of resonance and sound conduction. Some structures have unique acoustic characteristics that could have been used to amplify sound or create special sound effects. The organizational capabilities of ancient societies necessary for the implementation of megalithic projects included the coordination of thousands of people over decades. The creation of a system for planning, supplying, and managing such projects required a developed social structure and effective methods of labor organization. Modern attempts to reproduce ancient technologies have not yet been entirely successful. Experimental archaeology shows that even using all known ancient methods, it is impossible to achieve the quality and precision demonstrated by megaliths. This suggests the existence of unknown technologies or fundamentally different approaches to solving technical problems. Despite decades of intensive research, Russian megaliths continue to hold many unsolved mysteries that pose fundamental questions to science about the nature of ancient civilizations and the capabilities of humanity in the distant past. Instead of bringing us closer to a final solution to the mystery, each new discovery raises new questions and deepens our understanding of the complexity of the problem. These unsolved mysteries continue to attract the attention of researchers from around the world. The main mystery remains the source of the technology used to create the megaliths. The level of technical perfection of these structures is so high that their creation seems impossible even with modern technology. Where did the ancient builders get the knowledge and skills necessary to work with stone of such quality? Was there some kind of continuity of knowledge, or were these technologies developed independently? The energy aspects of megalith construction are another unsolved mystery. Calculations show that the processing and transportation of stone blocks required enormous amounts of energy. What energy sources did the ancient builders use? Did they possess knowledge of methods of obtaining and concentrating energy unknown to modern science? The purpose of megaliths remains a subject of debate among researchers. Were these structures temples, observatories, technical devices, or did they serve some other function? The complexity of their construction and astronomical orientation point to the multifunctionality of these objects, but their true purpose has not yet been definitively established. The social structures of ancient societies capable of creating megaliths remain a mystery. Traditional archaeology suggests that only hunters and gatherers lived in Russia during the period when megaliths were created. However, the creation of such complex structures required a highly organized society with a developed system of management, division of labor, and accumulation of resources. The methods of teaching and knowledge transfer in ancient civilizations are another unsolved mystery. The creation of megaliths required the participation of highly skilled specialists in various fields, from geology to astronomy. How was the training of such specialists organized? Did ancient academies or scientific centers exist? The geographical distribution of megaliths across Russia follows certain patterns that have not yet been satisfactorily explained. Why are megaliths concentrated in certain regions? Is their location related to geological features, climatic conditions, or some other factors? The time frame for the creation of megaliths remains unclear. Radiocarbon dating gives a wide range of dates, which may indicate either a long period of construction or several different stages in the creation of megalithic complexes. Was this a single construction program, or the result of the activities of several successive civilizations? The connections between Russian megaliths and similar structures in other parts of the world remain unclear. Similarities in technology and design may indicate cultural contacts between ancient civilizations or the existence of a single megalithic tradition. How were such contacts made over such great distances? The reasons for the cessation of megalith construction are another mystery. Why did a highly developed civilization capable of creating such grandiose structures suddenly disappear or lose its technology? Were these natural disasters, social upheavals, or some other causes? The role of natural factors in the creation and functioning of megaliths remains unclear. Some studies point to a connection between megaliths and geomagnetic anomalies, underground waters, or seismic activity. Did ancient builders use these natural phenomena for their own purposes? The technological secrets of stone processing have not yet been fully revealed. Modern attempts to reproduce ancient methods do not result in the same quality of workmanship. What tools and technologies did the ancient craftsmen use? Did they possess knowledge of physical principles unknown to modern science? The astronomical knowledge of the ancient builders of megaliths is striking in its accuracy and depth. How did they acquire such knowledge without modern observation instruments? Did they have methods of astronomical observation unknown to modern science? The impact of megaliths on the environment remains a subject of research. Some data indicate that megaliths may influence the local climate, magnetic field, or even biological processes. Were these effects known to ancient builders, and were they used for their purposes? The symbolic and ritual significance of megaliths may conceal important information about their purpose. The ornaments and symbols found on some megaliths may contain coded information about the technologies used to create them or their functional purpose. Deciphering these symbols could be the key to understanding many mysteries. The possibility of hidden elements in megalithic complexes continues to intrigue researchers. Georadar surveys reveal anomalies underground that may indicate the presence of unknown structures. What lies beneath the surface of the Earth in megalithic areas? Future research on Russian megaliths promises new discoveries and possible breakthroughs in understanding their mysteries. The development of new analysis technologies, the emergence of more sophisticated dating methods, and the expansion of interdisciplinary approaches may lead to revolutionary discoveries. Perhaps the unraveling of the mysteries of Russian megaliths will change our understanding of human civilization and open new horizons in archaeology and related sciences.